Welcome to Scene, where the art world meets the real world. Every 2 weeks, we sit down with emerging and established artists to offer a genuine glimpse into their lives and minds, all in an authentic and totally straightforward manner. I'm Carrie Scott, your host. And with 2 decades of experience as a curator and art historian, I firmly believe in the transformative power of art, if it's seen. Annabel Merrett has come to art making later in her life, and all of the work is centered around health. And I'm trying to resist the word to say mental health, because while that is central to her practice, it is health that matters here. Annabel, I think, has been embraced by the science community because of that core, but I think her practice is so important, well beyond the confines of mental health and science and the medical world. This is a woman who feels it's urgent that we readdress the way we think and we talk about all sorts of things. And like I said, I'm struggling to really find the words because I don't think they exist. And that's exactly what Annabel is pushing in her practice. Annabel Merrett, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
I have been looking forward to this conversation because we know each other quite well. And we don't seldom get the opportunity to be very serious.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So I'm excited to ask you some of the questions that maybe I don't ask you around a dinner table or when you're helping my children learn how to make art.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So let's start at the beginning, because this is a question I do not know the answer to. Why has it taken you so long to accept that you are an artist?
Goodness. Wow. I don't know. The practical reason is that despite surrounding myself with art all my life, I got sidetracked by I had a job that facilitated other people, that organized other people. And I think I just got too good at it.
What was that job?
So it was project managing, basically. And so the work kept coming. And I was a freelancer and I just got good at it. And you earn money and then you have a lifestyle that needs money. And I think that's probably the only answer, because I was always looking at art and thinking about art. And then when I started to paint my first painting lesson, the lady teacher said, "Have you painted before?" And I said, "No." And I said, "But I have spent my life looking at art." And she said, "Oh, you've been looking at art with an artist's art." And I thought, yeah. But that was in my 40s. And I'm in my 50s now. So I've been a late starter.
And what do you think kind of propelled you to go take a painting class?
Oh, it was luckily, I was sort of tripped into it. I was on crutches, and my aunt is a artist, and she's always said, "You should try." And she told me about a drawing school, and I couldn't do my job, so I was immobile. She told me about a drawing school, and I started there once a week, and I ended up painting portraits in oil. And then I was more seriously ill, and that pushed me into becoming sort of a lifestyle change. And that's pushed me towards doing it full time. And I've done it full time since.
Do you want to talk about that? Or do we want to just not talk about being seriously ill?
I didn't think about it very much. The only thing I think about, which I'll share with you, and that's probably enough, is I probably got the best bit of advice I've ever been given. When I left the cancer complex, as it were, my cancer nurse said to me, "Play your cancer card early." And I was baffled. But what she meant was that I have power to change things, and people forget. People forget. And she's so right. People were asking me questions about what I was going to do. I was thinking, I had no idea. I mean, it was 2 years too early to even think about it. But people forget. And the thing about making lifestyle changes is it's pretty inconvenient to people around you. That's all it is for me anyway. I mean, I wasn't making drastic changes, but it's only really inconvenient because they have to change. Um, and I had the power to inconvenience people. And I pretty much there and then, as I crossed the road when I left, I just remember it so well. I didn't know if I was going to get a taxi or a bus. And I just stood there, thought, I'm going to art school. I'm going to be a full-timer. It's great. It took a while to kind of put it all in place and jettison these things in my life that were really inconvenient, like earning money or various things too boring. So I think that's probably all I have to say about being ill. It's fantastic.
Man, that hit though. I don't know if you saw my face. I was like, right. Because it is true. I think we forget. We forget like what we have power
Yeah.
over. And we do have quite a bit of power to change the things that we need to. Okay. So but then you started on this journey that I think is kind of wild. Right? Like you were like, right, I'm gonna take this really seriously
Yeah.
and not just go, not just learn the basics, but like really
Yeah.
learn the basics. I mean, about art
Mm,
making in a way
mm,
that I don't, right? And when
mm.
I flippantly said you taught my kids how to make art, but like we did a whole beautiful session casting their hands, and I was like, these are terms I'm sure I should know, and I've got no idea what this woman is talking about. But okay, here we go. We're going to use resin and all the things. So why did you think it was so important to like get the foundations right?
I think I was naive
Huh.
and a bit older than people that go to art school because I didn't realize quite how valuable it was going to be and how unique it was. Um, there's people I've met since who've done masters at the Royal College in photography and they never took a photo. Yeah. And there's lots of installation, there's lots of things online. There's no life drawing at any of them, apart from even the slates stopped doing that. I had a life model all the time. Um, so I felt really lucky. I just don't think I would have been able to stick something that was online theoretical.
Hmm.
I really enjoyed the first time I touched clay, I was just like walking home,
Huh.
eating things. Yeah.
And I want to talk about life models because
Mm.
you then have turned yourself into your own model
Yeah.
multiple times.
Yes.
Um, but I also want to like the thing that I've seen it along the way because I knew you
Mm,
pre-artist
mm,
and now through it. But your facility now is
mm.
it's pretty fucking great. Oh, my
What do you mean by facility?
like your ability. So behind you on the wall,
Mm,
there's some
mm,
skulls,
mm,
or heads, however you
mm,
want to talk about them. And like you can draw, like you can
mm,
actually draw. And I
mm.
do think that that's a bit of a lesson in we can be taught to do this thing.
Yeah, you can definitely be taught to draw. I don't think you
Mm.
can. There's lots of things you can't be taught. And again, my aunt Sarah, with her practice, she's an artist. Has always said if you can draw, you can hang. It's a peg that you hang any art on.
Hmm.
If you can draw, you can express your ideas. You can. I mean, it's like a basic alphabet to write. It's so useful.
Hmm.
It's so useful, and it's so hard.
It's so hard. So hard.
It's so hard, but it is literally something. It's a learned skill. You just keep doing it. Anyone could do it. Honestly, there's lots of things anyone can't do as an artist, but a drawing you can be taught.
Hmm. Hmm. I think you might be right. Um, there was that amazing book that when I was a kid called Drawing on the Right Hand. side of the
right side of
brain.
the brain, yeah.
Yeah, and I
And
used
that's
to
perfect. I mean, that just basically teaches you to draw the shape of a space.
yeah. But then how did you find what you wanted to talk about? Like, how did you find so your aunt says drawing is the peg on which you can hang your ideas. How did you work out from this very formal training?
Mm.
I mean, you've basically turned into a conceptual artist. So how did you make that leap?
Mm. How did I go from learning all the different materials and techniques to choosing to
The
make
message.
spells and the message? Mm. I think the techniques are just a vehicle.
Hmm.
It's like getting in a car. The destination's not really connected to the car. It's. I think the technique just gives you, has given me just loads of opportunities to try lots of different ways of reflecting what goes on in my head. So it wasn't deliberate. It was, um,
But it now feels really deliberate, right?
doesn't it?
Your work, yeah,
Yes.
and your work
Mm,
talks about mental health and the
mm,
brain
mm,
over and over and over.
mm,
So it feels, as an outsider, it
mm.
feels like y- you somehow said to yourself, "This is the thing I'm going to focus on." But
Well,
was
I
it
think
not like
that's
that?
what a traditional old fashioned art school does for you.
Hmm.
It keeps challenging you, saying, we had to keep writing the blurb as if we were going to have an exhibition and someone was going to talk about us. Um, why have I cut this head open? Why? What? What is the point? Like Jesus would say, what is the point of it? What's the reason? What's the point? And that's excellent teaching because you really think about what you're doing. And I think I naturally gravitated towards mental health and being, I think it's just me. I think you just become yourself. I wanted to communicate acceptance of other people, just acceptance. And I've always been angry about injustice and power imbalances and bullies. And so it sort of teases that out of you.
Hmm.
And you transfer it into your work. So it was really obvious. I don't know how you'd carry on if it wasn't, um, I couldn't carry on. I wouldn't know what to do if I wasn't going for my instinct.
Hmm. No, no, but there's this really interesting mm, gap you're bridging
Mm.
between science and art and
Yes. Good. I love that.
data and art. And like, right, makes me think of, and this is a ridiculous analogy, but we'll do it anyway. Um, the way Da Vinci was tied up in medicine
Mm.
because he was interested in the body and humanity and what it meant to be human, right? But
No, no, compare me to Da Vinci. That's fine. I think that's come from. I had a lot of MRIs,
Mm,
um, and it's just revolutionary. If you imagine that before we had MRIs and functioning MRIs, scans of the brain, I mean, the only way you could look at a brain is if someone was dead. And so this is utterly revolutionary. And it's fascinating. If you're going to go to university, go and study neuroscience because this is so new and exciting. We can now, I could be in a scan and show me a picture of something I like, and it'll flash up the bit of the brain that's in charge of happiness. It's just so clever. The whole thing is so clever. And from that, and I've always been fascinated by that. Not always, but since I got ill. And what's brilliant about that is, and this is what I think has driven me, is there's lots of really unpleasant, I think, myths about mental health or about reacting to anything, any anger. And the kind of British pull your socks up. We've had one leg shot off in the war. Never mind, hop along, got one more. And this is data saying your brain's different.
Mm.
This is scientific facts saying mental health can be good, can be bad. This can be, you're not like everyone else. If you suffer from mental ill health, spend your whole time thinking, why are they coping? But it is something that's going on in your brain that's making it hard. And the science is slowly backing that up, which gives me great pleasure. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. And I'm trying to look at something. Martha Beck. I couldn't remember Martha's last name. I don't know if you've listened to her or read her. I've just got her book, so I haven't read it, but I did listen to her on 2 podcasts. And she talks about, like, in the most simple way, she talks about how your brain and your body are connected. And she makes you do this lie test, or she makes the Diary of a CEO, Stephen Bartlett, do this lie test where he puts out his hand and he has to say something that's obviously a lie, like, I'm not a man. And
dodgy territory, that, but yeah.
She pushes his hand out. It's not that. Someone's going to come after me for saying that because it's not that. I can't remember what she asks him, but I do it now with the children.
Gender.
It's something. And she goes to push his hand down and it goes down really quickly. And then she asks him to tell the truth. And he says something that is the truth and hold his arm out. And she tries to push his arm down and it doesn't go down.
Same as The Body Keeps Score.
Oh, totally. Best book.
We are all connected. And they found the scientists and doctors really recently, in the last couple of decades, they always thought that your limbic system, which is all the toxins and the hormones and anything that's not blood, stopped here. And it didn't go to the brain. But more recently, they put the fluorescent dye in, and accidentally, they were looking at something else. They discovered that whole system actually runs all the way over the top of your brain. And that's affected by what you eat, what your mood is, really fundamental things going on in your stomach, where your serotonin is made now. It's not made in your head. The majority of it's made in your stomach.
And your gut, right?
Yeah. Gut.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fascinating. I mean, the mind-body connection, right, is so important. I think it's what also excited me and drew me to your work. Well, I don't think I know that that's what, because I love the way you incorporate text into your practice. I do. I mean, I do. I think I do. I hope I do. Because it feels urgent and also, right, your use of text, it's like, it's expressive while also being, they're not imperatives, right? You're not asking us to think something or know something. You're just saying it's okay to feel pissed off or happy or concerned and like run through those exercises.
Yeah, again, communicating acceptance. That's what I want people to feel when they look at it. It's just like, it's okay to feel like this. And on the more serious thing, terrible young men suicide, that, they feel safe at that end of the scale. That feel safe. Because I think we're all pretty really crass, got a bit of madness in us.
We're all pretty what? I missed that.
I don't understand crass, but I think we've all got a bit of madness in us.
Oh.
We're not alone.
No. No. And it's, I mean, again, I think this is what's exciting about your practice at the moment is that you're putting that front and center and being like, it's all good. We can be broken. We are broken. It's okay.
I think I'd like my practice to say, you're not alone when you're broken.
Yeah, broken, wrong word. You're not alone.
Broken's fine, but the point is we don't need to be alone. And I think to not be alone, then maybe people would be helpful if they judged less.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you hope for the work? Like, what do you, What do you want for it? Tough question.
Well, any normal artist, I want it to be seen and I want to be paid for it. But beyond that, neither of those things will happen unless it's good. And I want to make things that people stop and look at and feel something.
And be thoughtful?
I don't mind about thoughts. It's more emotions or, feelings that bubble up or recollections or just triggered, to use a modern word.
Activated.
Yeah, fired up and I mean, that can be quite painful. I'm really flattered by the reaction, particularly the heads have had. But it is quite painful for some people. And I like the idea of if someone does feel painful about something, then an art gallery is a pretty safe space to sit it out.
Yeah.
Love art galleries. I feel like when you walk into one, the whole environment changes. It's like a decompression zone. The feeling, the air conditioning, the noise, very peaceful. Particularly, somewhere like the National Gallery in the Sainsbury's wing. You just walk from the busiest Trafalgar Square traffic, and it's like, phew.
Yeah.
So I love the idea. I'd love the idea of my work being in that space, a space of peace.
It's not surprising to me, but it's interesting to me that the kind of medical profession has thus far really loved and responded to your work.
I know. It's been a great springboard. Very happy with that. And in fact, over this mental health week coming up in the UK anyway, and I'm having an exhibition in Bristol at a museum called Glenside, and it's in a church, and it's built on the site of an asylum, an old asylum, and they are specifically trying to destigmatize mental health. So it's a very neat marriage. And yeah, it's delightful. It's delightful. But like you say, that's actually a museum. But the medical world is interested.
And I think maybe that's because, I mean, you're taking proper brain scans, right? Scans you had done of your own brain. This now brings me back to the body and your body and life models. But I think because you, especially with the brains, they're based on medicine, they're based on science. And then obviously, right, you render the head around it yourself. That's not part of a scan, right?
No, that's good old-fashioned calipers, measuring it and then going to the clay and measuring the clay and then measuring my head.
Doing the cast like you did, you physically laid down.
Yes, yeah. That was good. That was really good fun. Well, actually, it's like too fun. It's fun with hindsight. It's quite scary. You can't breathe resin all over your face.
Yeah.
You have to really trust the person who's going to cast your face.
Terrifying. But I wonder if that's because you're using the medical scan, that the medical field are like, ooh, we understand this art. And like, this is the problem for me time and time again with the art world and with art, is that it kind of sees itself as an aside. And that's what I mean by the bridge that you're making between the two. You're literally like melding them together. And I think that's really exciting.
Yeah. They're going off to, I don't know which ones yet, but to the conference for Royal College of Psychiatrists. And there's going to be 2,000 psychiatrists looking at them, which is bizarre, but delightful. Really, I'm really pleased about that. But like you say, it's the medical world. It's interesting, isn't it? Because the medical world is of a type of person. They have to be to get through all those exams.
Yeah. Yeah. Someone asked me the other day why I didn't become a doctor for a very strange reason I was asked that. And I was like, do you know, I don't think I could. I've got too much empathy. I wouldn't
Yeah.
survive. I
Yeah.
couldn't. I also don't think I was smart enough, or I wasn't kind of driven enough to sit down and do what I was told.
And put
But
the hours in for learning facts. And I mean, it's brutal, isn't it?
brutal.
I think I'm the same. I'm porous. I describe myself as porous. I can't not pick up other people's feelings and emotions and then empathize with them. And I have to be quite careful, actually, because now I've learnt, and apparently this happens with Oprah Winfrey. I remember her saying that people come up and tell her their story. And right away, she has to say, no, don't tell me. Because she can't get out the door otherwise. And
Yeah.
people do come and tell me their story, particularly interesting about the power, the head with the little figure.
Yeah.
That's very triggering for people to talk about that one. And I do listen, but it's not my job. I'm not a counsellor. So, but I make sure there's signposting to someone who is at the exhibition. That helps.
Yeah. And you are right. Like the text work, I think, is a kind of here's a workbook of sorts.
Yeah.
Or here's
Yeah.
a place to put what you're feeling. Like you're not just kind of creating works that leave us out on a limb.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's good. That's good to hear. Because the words come straight out of my head. I haven't rewritten them or thought about them, or it's straight. And originally, what was really good about them is that I tried to type them, and actually grammatically they're not very accurate, and spell check was getting in the way. And by the time the computer had done its work, it didn't really sound like me. And that's why I wrote them. Someone suggested you should handwrite them. And that just feels much more direct and accessible and personal in what's going on in the art.
Yeah.
The deliverable.
Well, it's my hope, Annabel, that your work gets seen more.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I mean it. You know, the text-based work, the wall pieces, you know this, they have really resonated with me on so many levels. And I think it's just a matter of time until the art world catches up to the medical profession, who are clearly just a bit more ready to talk about this than maybe we are.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's interesting. Yeah, two different worlds. I feel I've got to know both of them.
Yeah, well, look, we need more bridges. So
yeah, absolutely.
Generally need more bridges.
I think we need more bridges between parents and children as well.
Yeah.
It's one of my bugbears.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. Generally, we need more bridges. So thank you for your project. On that happy note, I'm going to let you go.
Wow, that went quickly.
I know, it's fast. But if people want to see your work, where do they go and how do they see it?
Well, my website's annabelmerrett.com. Quite straightforward, right spelling. And Instagram is annabel.merrett.
Cool. And Bristol?
Glenside is the name of the museum. And
in March?
In May.
May. Perfect.
April, May. It'll be there longer than Mental Health Week, but it's over Mental Health Week. And I'm going to make lots of little brains for young people to paint and do that thing, which I know draws a crowd.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Carrie. I really appreciate your support. I really do. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Scene Podcast. If you liked what you heard, I'd love it if you subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And if you want to connect with us between episodes, follow us on Instagram at WatchSceneArt. I'm Carrie Scott, and I'll see you next time. Get it?